All right, week 15, Broncos against Detroit. So the Vegas has Detroit winning by 5. I'm going to take the Broncos in this one. Not that I necessarily think the Broncos are going to win. The numbers are all stacked pretty well against the Broncos, given Detroit about an 80% chance of winning, which equates to about an 11-point spread. When you look at the raw numbers, Detroit has about a 30-17 advantage here, just purely by the straight numbers unadjusted. When I adjust them, you that's where it says, hey, this really is closer to an even game. And when you look at some of the more recent games that each of these teams have played, particularly if you start to exclude that, so you'll notice that says 35 there for Miami. What I did is I went through and said, that was an unusual win. So I didn't adjust the raw numbers, but I did adjust the score just to see if it would track much more closely. And that's really where it says that if you take that out of the consideration, the Broncos are playing better than what their scores say that they really are playing. And I think if you look particularly in the last 5 or 6 games, you see that. Okay, they're playing solid fundamental football in that they're playing a strong defense. They're running the ball. They've been pretty good at controlling the football, and they have Russell Wilson making passes as a game manager that he can make right now. Not trying to go deep, not trying to do things that their team can't do, but making the passes that are available. Meanwhile, Detroit in the past 3 games, they've had a couple of bad losses. They didn't look good against Green Bay. They didn't look good against Chicago. I thought that they looked really poor against both of those teams, quite frankly. Meanwhile, Denver has looked solid. Not great, just simply solid. So, with that, the 5-point spread just looks like it's overdue or too much. I would probably put this to be a bit closer to that 2.5, 3 point. If they'd have put it at that 2.5, 3 point, that'd have been a harder decision. So let's take a look at some of the raw numbers. So when we come on over here, the Denver offense does not look as balanced as what we see from Denver. I'm sorry, from Detroit. Detroit has definitely got a stronger combined rushing, passing. The one thing that we've certainly been seeing lately of Jared Goff, and quite frankly, a little bit of Russell Wilson, but overall, I think Jared Goff is showing a little bit more of that. And we see that up here in those higher numbers. More panicking, more of those interceptions that are coming across. But then we come down here, we look at Denver, we're seeing a bit more of those sacks as well. Both teams have about the same exact level of explosiveness. So I can see how that works out. So, like I said, I mean, Detroit really, by the numbers, should win this fairly easily. But at the same time, I think Detroit is hitting some barriers. I don't know if it's injuries to some key players that sometimes when you look at the injured list, it doesn't really show up as clearly. It's one thing if you see, their quarterback is out or their best receiver's out. When you see that, their left tackle is out, unless you really know their team, it's hard to really determine that. So I always encourage people to look at the raw numbers and make your own decision, come up to your own conclusion. So anyhow, if you like what you like, click like and subscribe, and drop me a note if you got questions or comments. Thank you.